Welcome and thank you for checking out this video brought to you by yours truly Val from Consequence and howtopriest.com. This video is a quick guide to what you should prepare before the launch of Legion on the 30th of August. We'll be going through the following elements: talents, trinkets, utility and consumable items, mounts, macros and add-ons, and lastly initial artifact questline preparation. So let's get right to it. So starting with the level 15 talents, we're going to have a look at Twist of Fate and Shadowwood Void. So why Twist of Fate? Twist of Fate is great if you're leveling with a group and consistently pulling a lot of mobs, or if you have a high eye level gear to support you chain pulling a lot on your own. My recommendation here is play Twist of Fate if you play with a group, or you have good enough gear to support you just chain pulling a lot solo. So why Shadowwood Void? It's going to give you a quick way into Void form from Zero Insanity. You'll be able to enter Void form very fast via your full opener going Shadowwood Void times 2 into Mind Blast, into Impact Touch, into Shadowwood Pain, 1 tick of Mind Flay, and then Void Eruption. This is especially valuable if you're leveling solo and you have lower eye level, since you'll be spending more time in Void form as opposed to losing Twist of Fate uptime between pulls because of your downtime while healing and such. My recommendation here is play Shadowwood Void if you level solo at a low eye level. Next up is the level 30 talents. Here Body and Soul is pretty much the no-brainer. It provides the best mobility in the talent row, and since mobility is king and speeds up your leveling, there is really no other choice. On to the level 45 row. Here again, Mind Bomb is pretty much the default choice here. It's the best control talent of the row. Instant cast, 2-second delayed stun. It's always great for controlling mobs. So, onto the level 60 row. Here Reaper of Souls is pretty much the default choice for me. Simply the best talent for bursting down targets and gets you into the next Void form faster because of the extra insanity gain you get. Onto the level 75 row, we have Sunlane and Shadow Insight. So why Sunlane? Sunlane is really good at a high eye level as it provides you the ability to pull even more mobs via the increased sustain from the increased healing and Vampiric Touch and Vampiric Embrace. My recommendation here is play Sunlane if you're leveling solo with high eye level gear and plan on pulling several mobs at a time. So why Shadowy Insight? Shadow Insight provides you with a lot more single target burst to kill individual mobs if you're leveling solo at a low eye level and can pull several mobs at once. It also does great when leveling groups. While the group is pulling mobs, you Shadow Pain on everything and you just machine gun those instant Mind Blast procs. My recommendation here is play Shadowy Insight if you're leveling solo with a low eye level of gear, or leveling in a group pulling everything around you. Onto the level 90 row. Mindbender is a really strong and versatile spell while leveling, especially combined with the tier 18 2-piece and 4-piece. Mindbender is crazy strong. It provides you with an almost permanent tank when you're using Fade, and really great DPS increase overall. So for the level 100 talent, Legacy of the Void is the one I default to. It gets you into Void form faster, meaning you get higher uptime on your damage increase, and yeah, the rest aren't really worth it for leveling. So that's it for talents. So, onto trinkets. We're going to be focusing on 4 different trinkets: the Chipped Soul Prism, Iron Weaver Piston, Orb of Voidsight, and Unblinking Gaze of Seath. So, you want to start out with Iron Weaver Piston and Chipped Soul Prism if you have them. Both are basic stat sticks and are just going to flat out increase your power. Regarding the Heirloom Trinket, Orb of Voidsight, unless you have the normal mode Iron Weaver Piston, you want to wait until 103 before you start using the Voidsight Trinkets with Chipped Soul Prism. The buff from the Voidsight Trinket is pretty RNG and only lasts 15 seconds. So if you're unlucky, you'll easily waste a lot of procs while moving around, but once you get to 103 and above, the intellect increase starts to skyrocket, and you want to replace Iron Weaver Piston with it and keep it all the way to 110 to get all the juicy intellect. For Unblinking Gaze of Seath, the Iskar Trinket. If you're leveling in a group and pulling a lot of mobs together, Gaze is really strong early on because of the AoE damage, though you'll likely change Gaze out for Voidsight at around 106, 107 again, because of the huge intellect jump from the scaling Voidsight Trinket. So, if you have the Chipped Soul Prism, from 106 to 110 you should be using Chipped Soul Prism and Voidsight exclusively. That's it for trinkets. On to utility and consumable items. This part is primarily going to be about flat stat increases, but we're also going to talk a bit about some utility items and some niche items. Starting out with your basic consumables, you want to have your intellect flask, your augment runes, your potions, your haste food, your healing tonics for oh shit moments, and that's it for the basic stat increase. These were just like the basic that some people don't really think about when thinking leveling, because they're usually used in raid situations. Onto the more utility oriented things. Drums of Fury, a mini bloodlust here, some time warp, whatever you want to call it. Always great and should be used on cooldown when relevant, of course. Don't use it on a single mob, use it to kill larger mobs when you pull several mobs into one big pack and kill them. The last one in this category is the Goblin Glider. It's great for getting you around from ledges and such, has a lot of utility. Onto the flat XP increases, the XP banners. These banners from the guild vendors will increase the XP you gain from killing mobs, not quests. Obviously you want to plant these when you're in an area killing several mobs. They all last 15 minutes and using one puts the rest on a 2-minute shared cooldown and the one used on a 10-minute cooldown. Ideally you want to use these in the bonus objective areas because you're going around killing mobs there for progress, so you'll max the benefit from the banners. They give the following XP increases. The epic one gives 15%, the rare one gives 10%, and the uncommon one gives 5%. If you're playing in a group, the 15% banners should be chained first when applicable, then the 10%, and lastly the 5%. These banners are attained at the following locations. For Lions, you have to go to Shea Presley in Stormwind in the Trade District. And for the Horde, you have to go to Goram in Orgrimmar, in Valley of Strength to the left of Grommash Hold. And that's it for this section. So, on to the more niche items. We're gonna have niche and super niche. These items are niche, and using them mostly comes down to a gut feeling. So for the niche items, we have the Draenix Swiftness Potion. It grants 200% run speed, and it's great to get out of caves fast, as well as getting around places where you can't mount and similar. Second, we have the Swim Speed Potion. It grants you 100% swim speed, which is nice and is primarily used in Asuna a few times when having to go underwater to do some of the quests there. So, onto the super mega ultra niche. It's the Draenix Invisibility Potion. This is the god of the god feeling item on this list, since it puts all of your other potions on a 10-minute cooldown. I personally haven't found a use and a proper time to use it yet, but you might find it, but it's always good to have just in case. Those were my niche picks for this list. So, on to mounts. The Water Striders are almost mandatory for leveling if you want to do it fast, especially since there's always at least one zone with water, which can and should be crossed to cut down on travel time. There are two ways to obtain one of these Water Striders. The first one is the Azure Water Strider. You can get that from being exalted with the Anglers in Crasserang Wilds back in MOP, and it's going to cost you 5,000 gold. The second one is from a garrison. It's going to require you being honored with that pagel, and it's going to require you to fish up 100 coins to buy it. Onto macros. The first macro is to speed up things when pop-up dialogues are involved. Basically, this macro insta-clicks the accept confirm yes button in any pop-up dialogues when you press it. The second and last macro is just a simple macro for chaining experience banners, always using the highest percent available banner. If you're in a group, make sure everyone has this macro to make sure the 15% ones are always chained first. Lastly, it's add-ons. I'm only going to list one add-on, and that's ConsLegion, since it does everything for you while leveling. You can customize it to do so much. You can make it auto-accept quest rewards, skip cinematics, and so on. ConsLegion is made by Serial, who's also part of the Consequence Guild. Big props to him for the time and effort he has put into this add-on. So just a quick overview of it. It contains a guild newsfeed for like ad pics and such, your guild loot. A quest window with your current quests, a XP bar for yourself and the people you're leveling with, if you're leveling in groups, so you can see their current progress in their level, and a glaive window that's gonna have small information bits for you, like where you have to go now, what you have to do, pick up something. You see the settings here in the middle for the glare window, and for the rest of the windows you can resize them, change the alpha, lock them, hide them. For quest settings you can auto pick up quests, auto hand in quests, you get the option to auto pick rewards and pick which choice. So there are lots and lots of customization options. You can skip cutscenes and auto share the quests. So yeah, all in all, a great add-on. You should definitely use it. Lastly, it's the final prep for the first thing you're gonna do once Legion hits, your artifact quest. After you're done with the roleplay stuff in New Dalaran and have to go pick up your artifact at False Rest, you have the option to take the portal to Dalaran Crater from New Dalaran, but taking that portal is far from the fastest way. So to get to the artifact quest ASAP, you have two options. The first option is hearthstone placement. Have your hearthstone set to one of the following locations depending on your faction. For the Alliance, it's Mother Madderley at the Chillwind camp in Western Plaguelands. This is the closest inn to False Rest. For the Horde, it's Provisioner Elder at the Bulwark in Tearsfall Glades. The flight time is the same as the time from Brill, but your hearthstone puts you outside at the Bulwark as opposed to inside at the inn in Brill, so you gain a little more time for being able to mount outside instantly. The second option is to have your challenge mode portal, Path of the Scarlet Blade, Path of the Scarlet Mire ready on your bars, and just simply teleport to the Scarlet Monastery, and from there you can run outside and easily run out of the Scarlet Monastery and fly the short distance remaining to False Rest. Though this does require you to have unlocked the challenge mode portal from Mists of Pandaria, which some people might not have due to having re-rolled or recently started playing. But this path using the challenge mode portal from Mists of Pandaria is by far the fastest way of getting to False Rest and picking your artifact and getting right into it. So yeah, that's it for this video on Shadow Legion leveling preparation. Remember to like the video if you liked it, if you learned something, and dislike it if you think it sucked, and remember to let us know what we could do better in the future in the comments down below. And of course, subscribe to the How to Priest YouTube channel, as well as my own YouTube channel for more videos. And I'll of course put a link to the add-on in the description down below, as well as the macros I mentioned earlier. And I'll see you next time.